and welcome to Cyber Focus, your source for international business information. My name is Sarah Ko, and our guest today is Dr. Nazif Shahrani. Now, Dr. Shahrani holds a master's degree and a PhD in anthropology from the University of Washington and bachelor's degrees from the University of Hawaii and Kabul University. Currently, he serves as a professor for Indiana University's Anthropology and Central Eurasian Studies departments and has more than 35 years of teaching experience. And as an expert in the peoples and cultures of Central Asia and the Middle East, Dr. Shahrani has authored numerous books and articles and presented in conferences and television programs on diverse topics, including Islam in post-Soviet Central Asia and post-Taliban governance in Afghanistan. Today, Dr. Shahrani will be speaking about the current business climate in Afghanistan and how recent administration has impacted the country's economy. Dr. Shahrani, thank you for coming in to speak with us.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a great pleasure to be here with you on the program. And I wish I could give you a really positive news, because this is what the country expected a year ago when this administration came on board. And as you know, this is a government, interestingly enough, that was put together by Secretary Kerry, who will be visiting us next week here at Indiana University. It's called Government of Unity, but one that has not, unfortunately, worked very well. The business climate has gotten seriously worse than expected. The business is down. Apparently, the national income, the government's income, is down by about 40% already. And they're estimating the growth would be less than 2% this year. And the unemployment is unbelievably high. And of course, all of that boils down to security situation in the country, which is deteriorating by the hour. Many parts of the country is right now under the control or threat of control of Taliban, and government is battling its way. And it's very disheartening. People in the country are truly disappointed with Ashraf Ghani and Dr. Abdullah's government. At least their first year has been producing nothing of the sort that they promised. And that is something that the country has to grapple with.
Well, I want to focus our attention a little bit more on the economic and the business front now. Right. According to the World Bank statistics, and you mentioned it earlier in the interview, the youth unemployment rate is still very much high in Afghanistan. And you also echoed this point at I believe, an article for Voice of America. Now, do you think having young entrepreneurs in the country, nurturing them and really trying to encourage them to start different businesses could kind of divert this trend of unemployment?
If you don't have security and stability, I think nothing else is going to happen in the way that you wish it to happen. The fact that there are lots and lots of now fairly well-educated cadre, especially college graduates in Afghanistan, and many also who have had some foreign training, especially in India, and some in the US, European countries and so forth, that they have returned to the country, but there are no opportunities for them to do much of anything. And you may have also followed the news that after Syrian refugees, Afghans are the second largest who are trying to get into European countries. And a lot of these young people are saying they're leaving the country because they don't see any future in the country, given the way it's being run. And the business climate, of course, is in decline. Much of the funding was really through war. You remember that United States of America alone has spent more than $100 billion in economic aid in the last 14 years. And of course, much of that was also another $1 trillion, I should say, more than $1 trillion on the military in the war that was fought there. So much of that money has been essentially leaving the country. It's dried up. It's no longer there. And very little has been made, attempt has been made really in terms of business to generate income. A lot of the money was spent on sort of service things and one-time expenditures without generating income. And until the country can put together a package where investments actually produce and generate income to add to country's future self-sufficiency, you cannot expect economic stability in the country. And I think brain drain will be a very important aspect of that. The youth have been leaving, and that is a tragedy. I think the country knows that. Those who are in the leadership position know that, and the youth are certainly talking about it. In fact, yesterday there was a demonstration in Kabul staged by young college graduates, essentially saying we're giving a vote of no confidence to this government. It has failed us. It's not going to do much for us, and we don't want it. So we're sort of really at a point where the country may go down to a serious crisis than it has been.
Well, that leads me to our final question. So with all this domestic turmoil and still confusion, what do you think foreign investors and foreign businesses can do to support post-Taliban Afghanistan to come up to its success?
It's incredible how much foreign investment has gone into the country despite all the turmoil and difficulties. It's not the question of, a lack of investment, lack of interest in investment. It's what they're investing in. What they're investing in is like communication infrastructure, which obviously helped the military while they were there. And now more than 21 million Afghans have cell phones. At the beginning, there were none 14 years ago. But this is the kind of investment that is not going to be productive. And it's some companies are making money. There's no doubt about that. But what benefit does that bring in terms of generating income for people to be employed and other kinds of things? So the problem really is lack of a vision on the part of the leaders to have invested on, for example, in agriculture, land reclamation, water management in the country. And the country has plenty of these, but it has not been managed very well, which could have then increased wealth for the ordinary people. The tragedy is that about 100 families have come to become essentially huge, wealthy families. And then the rest of the country is poor, impoverished, and has nothing to look forward to.
Well, Dr. Shahrani, thank you so much for coming and speaking with us.
My great pleasure. Thank you.
Well, that's all for this edition of Cyber Focus. Thank you for tuning in. Now, if you have any comments or suggestions for future topics, please contact us at CIBER, that's CIBER, at indiana.edu.